to Bills Postgame Live. We are presented by Wesley Clark and Peshkin, your divorce and estate planning attorneys. Your family is our business. Bills legend Steve Tasker and Maddy Glab here with you guys. When Damar Hamlin FaceTimed the team on Friday afternoon, he said, "Love you boys." Well, the Bills team showed that love today with a big win over the Patriots, a final score of 35-23, locking up that number 2 seed in the playoffs. They will play the Miami Dolphins next week. Time and date TBD, but we know our opponent. This was a big win in a lot of ways to finish off the season with a win with what the team went through the entire week. So great to hear so much good Damar Hamlin news. He watched the game with his family members from the hospital and was tweeting during the game. So great to see 3 touchdown passes from Josh Allen, 3 interceptions by the Bills defense, and 330 total yards before 3 kneel downs. It was all for 3 today. Steve, what stood out to you most in this game?
Well, the emotion, he really thought, and I'll say this, outside of Nyheim Hines, it was a tough day. It was a very difficult week for the Bills players and their coaches, and I thought it showed. I mean, they scored 21 points as an offense today, which is well below their season average. Turned it over a little bit, had trouble pass protecting. The running game was actually pretty good, but you just felt like they weren't hitting on all cylinders. And then at the end of the game, the 2 big plays to end it with, one to John Brown, one to Steph Diggs to put it out of reach of the Patriots, really were the difference in the football game. The Bills got out of here with a win, actually a double-digit win, but man, oh man, you could tell they were not greased lightning today, and kudos to them. The defense that gave up, made Mac Jones look really good for 13-16 in the first half, came up and got 3 interceptions in the second half, and that was an enormous boost for this club.
Finished the season with a 13-3 record. We have seen so many threes throughout the last week. Those 2 return touchdowns from Nyheim Hines, especially that first one to start the game. I swear that atmosphere, you wanted to bottle it and keep it for the rest of your life because it was an incredible way to kick off the game, to start the game. We're going to kick off our show sending it over to Josh Allen, who's live on the podium answering some questions.
Kind of played out.
Yeah, I mean, I really appreciate the leadership that we have in this organization. From top to bottom, everybody was there for each other. We were there for Damar. I mean, our spirits have been high ever since Thursday morning, when we got the news. So just wanted to come out and play free, play loose, play for him. And obviously the first kickoff, and you couldn't have scripted any better, man. Like, it was pretty. That one was pretty emotional. Just the way it happened. Obviously, there's some things that we want back in this game, some things that we can learn from. At the end of the day, it's playoffs now. It's 1-week seasons. I believe we got the Dolphins next week, a team that knows us well. So we got to put our work in this week and get ready for next week.
There was some speculation among a lot of us, I think, that there might be something done before the game, like the teams coming together, and that really didn't happen. Was that talked about between the teams, or?
Not that I knew of. Yeah, I mean, we wanted to be announced as a team together, and obviously we did our breakdown there, our pregame in the middle. But no, I've never heard anything about that.
So what was you thinking on the kickoff? You're getting ready to go out on the field, and as you're watching him run down for the touchdown, I know you said it was something, but what was that really like for you guys?
You know what, the truth, it was spiritual. It really was. Bone chilling, like, it was special.
Josh, did you guys ever feel comfortable out there today, or do you think you're still feeling a little hesitant maybe after what happened last week?
No, I think we felt comfortable. Our guys ran the ball hard, got some guys open. Obviously missed a few throws too. But again, we're just trying to get in the groove of things, and it don't matter, how we win now. It's if we win. The main goal from here on out is score more points than they do, no matter what it takes.
How much did that first play help?
It was very helpful. Very helpful.
Josh, where do you rank that opening kickoff in terms of football memories?
I can't remember a play that touched me like that, I don't think, in my life. So it's probably number 1.
What
About the second one?
It was just spiritual, and I was going around, and I was going around my team and saying, God's real. Like, you can't draw that one up, write that one up any better. And I was just told by Kevin Kearns it's been 3 years and 3 months. Since the last kickoff return, so it's pretty cool.
Josh, we know that you guys faced Clemson yesterday. DeMar, he was live tweeting the game too. Were you guys able to talk to him before the game or after the game? Was today good?
Yeah, we just broke it down. He was FaceTiming with us. He broke us down actually, his voice. So that was cool too. He got the game ball as well as our trainers and our training staff. So it is a good feeling in there right now, no doubt.
Did the Patriots come up to you and say, hey, we feel for you or anything like that?
Yeah, Slater. That's a guy that's been in the league for a long time. McCourty too. They both came up and said something to me, so I really appreciate those guys for that.
I don't know if you were able to take this in, but it's not common we see a stadium pretty much full before the national anthem, the regular season game. Were you able to take that in and realize how much the fans were with you guys?
Yeah, that's Bills Mafia. It's the love of Western New York, the people here, and we really appreciate the support that they showed, not only us, but DeMar, as well as the entire world with DeMar. So it was, yeah.
Josh, was there a greater difficulty getting ready to go out on the field and play because of the situation? I know you said that you had gotten great news, so you felt better, but this was different than any game you've probably taken the field for. Was it a little bit difficult to get your emotions in check?
Well, I think a little bit. Again, sitting there, national anthem, I know some guys had some tears rolling down and just a lot of a feeling of uncertainty of, what it was going to feel like to go back out there. But, Naheem kind of put that to rest, and our special teams helped out a lot with that. So, I think it was a pretty good complimentary football game. I know we threw 3 touchdowns and had 3 interceptions as well. It's crazy.
Josh, you said that with spiritual and kickoff, you think God was talking to you guys?
I think he was talking to the world. That the whole way, I think the nation came together and supported DeMar, and we've had a lot of talks that maybe we wouldn't have had without something like this happening. So I think it's been pretty eye-opening for a lot of people.
Josh, when you're pointing downfield when you threw it to John, was that kind of an ad-lib there?
Yeah. Safety kind of went with Isaiah, and I just kind of saw him back there and pointed to him, and obviously having the rapport that I have with Smoke, he saw it and made an unbelievable catch. Unbelievable. So that was a pretty good feeling, obviously, bringing Smoke back, and I know he's been inactive the last few weeks, but getting his shot and making a huge play for us at a really pivotal point of the game, we definitely needed that, and I kind of just chopped that down to who he is, his drive, obviously being a smart vet, and coming back and wanting to be here.
Josh, after they scored, they made it 28-23, that was the Diggs touchdown. Just, at that point in the game, what had just happened, how big was that play?
It was huge. I believe it was 3rd down, right? And it was after a penalty. And he got called back 15 yards. So, again, behind the chains there, but, just giving 14 a chance one-on-one. And that's something maybe I've gotten away from a little bit too much. And the dinking and dunking's great, but sometimes you got to let your dogs be dogs.
Josh, the last couple of weeks we've talked about Stephon Diggs and trying to get him involved maybe a little bit more. And was that kind of the plan? Because you looked at him really early in this game.
Yeah. Again, we want to throw it to 14, and teams do a really good job of taking that away. Whether they're doubling with another safety, if they're clouding to them. But at the end of the day, they can't do it every single play. So we got to decipher the plays where they aren't and give him his opportunities.
Josh, inside the red zone, your first touchdown with Dawson Knox, how important was it for you to have patience right there?
Yeah, it was big. I mean, they dropped 8. They doubled Steph, and I believe they doubled Gabe. We call that bracket. And Dawson did a good job of recognizing that. He was running across the middle. I felt like I had time, just kind of extended a little bit, and he came back and made a heck of a catch. And yeah, those are the ones you don't really practice too often. It was just kind of an ad-lib deal, and glad that he saw it.
When Mark broke down, what did he say?
He said, "Love y'all boys. Bills on me, or Bills on 3, Bills on me. 1, 2, 3 Bills." So sweet.
Thanks, everybody.
Thank you.
Bills on me, Bills on 3. Love to hear that Damar Hamlin was able to break the team huddle down after the win over the Patriots. This week's game sponsor is ECMC. Go where the Bills go. ECMC, the official healthcare provider of the Buffalo Bills. We're going to get into this week's player spotlight. It's presented by Microsoft Surface. Microsoft Surface is the official tablet and sideline technology of the Buffalo Bills. And you guys know who we're giving it to. Nyheim Hines with what he was able to do on special teams today. 2 return touchdowns. Steve, take us through how epic this was.
I love it. He did the right thing. He comes right up the middle and then looks for a crease and bounces it to the outside, and then it's just a foot race. And even if he gets caught, it's going to be a big return. But as we've seen in his limited appearances, the guy can scoot, and he scooted all the way to the end zone. I'm with Josh. I mean, this play, when it happened, felt supernatural. You really felt like something was out there that was bigger than us. And then to come back later in the game, as soon as that last tackle got broken, it was done. He ran in the clear for 60 yards, and nobody was going to catch him. I was looking back behind him to see if there were flags. There weren't any. Truly an unbelievable occurrence. 2 kickoff touchdown returns in the same game. I mean, you see it sometimes in youth football or something like that. It's been since 2010 that it's happened in the National Football League.
Yeah, rare to
with
see
all the
2 in a game.
kickoffs and all the stuff that's going on, it's really unbelievable to think about. And
Yeah.
There's been a couple of moments in these last 5 or 6 years that are very poignant. The Taron Johnson 101 interception return in the playoffs. Certainly the drought getting broken.
This has got to be another one of those, Steve. It's got to be.
This is one of those moments in history that Bills fans are going to remember.
Oh, yeah, absolutely. And we heard Josh Allen say in the postgame press conference that he learned Nyheim Hines' first kickoff return that went for a touchdown happened 3 years and 3 months after the last kickoff return for a touchdown that the Buffalo Bills had. And Josh Allen got a little bit teary-eyed after saying that. And that's how we all felt watching that happen. I mean, you and I looked over at each other. We both had tears in our eyes. All you could do was feel so happy for the moment, so happy for the happy emotion on the field. And I love that the Bills, with everything that went on pregame, they were able to take that emotion and put it into something good, which was scoring on the first opportunity that they had, and then also settling into the game.
Yeah.
They settled in really well.
Yeah, I think they settled down, and I think when they got over that first hump, no question that the Patriots were in a must-win. They came in and played a lot better, I think, than the Bills were playing. Let's face it, they were up. Their offense was up 14-7 at halftime. You take away the Nyheim Hines kick returns.
That's 14 points.
Patriots win this by 2. You know, I mean, they certainly aren't in a position where they have to throw it all over the yard and throw in those interceptions at the end of the game. This game goes very differently if Nyheim Hines doesn't have those 2 explosive plays. Josh hits the explosives with John Brown with Smoke and with Diggs to answer it and put it out of reach. But this is a game that was dead even except for those 2 plays. And this is a game where if the Bills, you think, are hitting on all cylinders, this game shouldn't have been that close, but it was.
The defense had 3 interceptions today. It was so awesome to see them be such a force and a threat in the second half of that game when the Bills really needed them to step up. They definitely did. Let's send it over to Taron Johnson and Tremaine Edmonds, who are answering some questions right now.
So Tremaine, how big of a win was this today?
Yeah, it was definitely big. It was a tough week for all of us, man, and to go through what we went through. Not just us. I don't want to put the focus on us, man, but for Damar to go through what he went through, man, it touched a lot of our hearts. And, it was definitely an emotional week for all of us, man. And, he gave us strength throughout the week, just constant, positive updates. And just knowing that he's doing better, man. And, I can't lie, that FaceTime call we had with him earlier this week, man, put a lot of our hearts, kind of at ease a little bit, man, just knowing that he's doing better, knowing that he's going to be fine. Still a long journey for him, man, but it touched a lot of our hearts because obviously that was a scary moment for a lot of us, and I'm just glad that the Lord was on his side.
Sure.
And all thanks to the man above, man, because he got him through this, and I'm extremely happy for him. Extremely happy to see how he continues to progress through this thing, man, and I know he's happy. I can't wait to talk to him, man, and this one was for sure for 3.
Tremaine, is there a symbolism getting 3 interceptions on defense for number 3 today? What about that?
Man, that's crazy. That's crazy, but that's how the man above works.
Facts.
And I mean, like I said, man, we put all our trust in the man above, and you know, none of this would be possible. None of this would be possible if it wasn't for him. And you know, I just thank him. And it's a coincidence how something like that happens, man. And you know, that's all his work. But you know, hopefully Damar's smiling. Hopefully Damar's happy. Hopefully he's doing better. And this one was definitely for D-Ham.
Terry, can you take us from everybody was scared on Monday to today, where you get to celebrate his recovery, all the fans here, the atmosphere, how in a short period of time, how things changed and how it felt to take the field with everything for Damar today?
I mean, mainly it's just the fact that we found out he's okay and he's doing better. You know what I'm saying? That's the main focus. Like Tremaine said, I mean, glory to God, you know what I'm saying? So it's just, we're just thankful to have him. And him, Dang talked to him on FaceTime after the win, and he's smiling, happy, moving, talking. So it's just lovely to see, and I'm just happy that he's moving forward.
Aaron, what was your viewpoint from the opening kickoff when you watched Hines take it back? What were you thinking during that moment?
Wow, I mean, it was spectacular. Not to mention the second one, you know what I'm saying? Like he really did his thing, you know, and it's a great weapon to have.
Just before the game started, we got our first look at Damar. He tweeted out a photo. Have you guys seen this photo? Do you know? No?
I haven't seen it yet.
So he tweeted out a photo from the hospital with a heart shape in front of him, just to know that he was putting that out right before the game, and you know, saying it's game time, and thinking of you guys, and just showing the world how he's doing right now. What does that say about him?
I mean, it speaks on his character. You know, all that he's going through, man, to still be able to show us that support, still be able to, you know, to let the world know that he's still in tune into the game, man, it means a lot. Because this game is bigger than us. It's bigger than one man out there. And, you know, just to see that, and just to see that, you know, our brother is still riding with us, man, through all that he's been through throughout this whole week. I mean, it means joy to my heart, man, just to know that, you know, he's still counting on us, man. He's still supporting us. And, I mean, what more can you ask for? It's nothing that we can hang our heads on, man, because he's battling. You know what I mean? He's battling. He's been in a constant battle. And, I mean, definitely very emotional, but, you know, tears are for healing, man. So, you know, a lot of guys healed through that. A lot of guys, you know, got stronger. He got stronger. And, you know, at the end of the day, man, just to know that he's doing well, I mean, that goes way beyond the game of football.
Aaron, was there interaction with the Patriots at all regarding this situation? I mean, you know, it's a big game, it's a huge game, you're fierce rivals, but was there interaction about Damar specifically?
Not for me. I mean, maybe for some other players. I mean, when I came out to warm-ups, I saw that they had their Damar shirts on, and obviously, you know, when we saw what we saw on Monday, like, it touched everybody. You know, every football player around the country. So I know that they were praying for him. I know the whole league was praying for him. So it's just thankful that we all have the ability to do that and represent him the right way.
I'm just curious what this week was like for you. In addition to everything going on tomorrow, you also going through concussion protocol. What was this week kind of like?
I mean, I felt fine. You know, I went through concussion protocol, but, you know, I just felt like it wasn't really about me. You know what I'm saying? It's about Damar right now. That's something bigger than football or me playing or not. So I just felt like I felt fine, and I just wanted all the focus on him.
There was some concern that maybe you guys would be just, you know, emotionally drained from this entire week. Obviously, your hearts were with your team, but how did you guys overcome what was just an exhausting week for everyone on this team?
I feel like, I mean, we're resilient, man. That's the biggest word I could put into us right now, is that we're resilient. And I mean, there's been other situations, obviously none to the magnitude of Damar, but there's been other situations that we've had to go through and been through, and I feel like that only makes us stronger.
Do you think the tension was broken through at some point during the game, and if so, when, or do you think you guys played the whole time just a little bit hesitant?
You know, it's hard to speak on. You know, obviously, everybody was affected by it. You know, but I think that opening kick, just to see, you know, how God works, man, that was definitely, like, it was crazy just to witness. And, you know, so I know a lot of guys were probably battling through a lot of stuff throughout the whole game, but, you know, I was just glad that we was able to do it for Damar.
I was just going to ask about that opening kickoff. What did it do for you personally and for the team on that sideline?
I say, I mean, it just gave us juice. You know what I'm saying? It just gave us that extra push. You know, we gotta go out there and play. You know, so that was huge. And anytime you score on special teams, it's a huge lift up for the defense, for the offense, for the whole team, and we needed those.
You mentioned it's different for everyone. What was the first innings of drive like for you specifically? It was kind of obviously a huge electric start to the game, then just going out there.
To be honest, I don't even want to put the focus on me. Obviously it was emotional, but just the back of my mind just wanted to do it for DeMar. I know obviously as a team that was our focus, and I'm glad we was able to get it done.
You looking forward to playing Miami, quote unquote, the third time this year?
Yeah, definitely looking forward to it.
Hey, Jermaine, Dean Marlowe gets put in a spot where, he has to be the guy who steps in. What can you say about him, mentally being the guy that can handle something like that?
Yeah, take my hat off to Dean. He didn't blink once his name got called. Showed it throughout the week with practice, film study, and just communication across the board. I got trust in him. That's the main thing about when you step out there, with somebody filling a role. And, Dean's been here before, man. He's a great leader, great teammate. He didn't blink. He was helping out the young guys when he first got here. Now that his role, obviously, has been expanded, he didn't blink. And like I said, I take my hat off to him, and that goes to the type of person he is, just being able to step in and, being able to play in big-time games like this and, not losing a step. So, definitely take my hat off to Dean.
Jermaine, we heard so much this week about what Sean McDermott was like helping you guys prepare, helping you guys do what you needed to be ready for today. What was he like today?
Yeah, just the way Coach McDermott handled the whole situation, man, it's top-notch leadership. To do some of the things, to make some of the decisions that he made, I know it's not easy for no man. And, I'm glad to call that man my coach, you know what I mean, just to rally behind him and just to see the type of leadership that he showed. Obviously he showed some emotion, but to still be able to get us prepared to play this football game, man, is, you couldn't ask for anything more.
How about Tre'Davious White? You guys saw on Monday night a routine play that had a really scary ending. Was it difficult? How difficult was it for you to just go back out there and play football again and just go through those routine plays again?
Yeah, I think it's tough. In particular, just being on the field and, just knowing that it could really happen to any one of us. It was definitely tough. But through all of that, man, I think more the focus was more so on making sure DeMar was okay rather than, worried about the long-term effects about us. I think it was just more so making sure that he was good, and that's where our focus was at. And that's where a lot of our mindsets was at, just checking in. And, getting those constant updates was definitely, a sigh of relief for a lot of us.
Jermaine, care to talk about the way your teammate Terran Johnson played today?
Let me dot my dog up for once. Man, Terran is a baller, man. He's a dog for sure. We came in together, man, and since day one, I already knew that. You know what I mean? You turn the film on, you flying around, physical. Like to call him a linebacker myself, man, but made a lot of big time plays for us, a lot of physical plays for us, and I expect nothing less from him, man. I take my hat off to him. Extreme hard worker. Even time in the film room, stuff off the field, man, just a better teammate. And, when you have that connection off the field, it just makes it 10 times better when you're on the field playing with your brother. So, definitely a baller, man. And, I wouldn't want to go to war with nobody else.
While you guys had to work through that difficult week, we didn't get to see you much this week. Was there any kind of phrase or certain words from Coach McDermott or from anybody that you guys shared as a team that helped you get through it at any point?
I can't necessarily. We prayed a lot. That's probably the biggest thing I can say about us is that we prayed every day for DeMar, and look how God works. You know what I'm saying? So we're just blessed that he's working, and we want to keep moving forward.
Okay. All right, thank you.
So great to hear these guys talk about all the great news they've received this week as Damar Hamlin continues to get better and better, FaceTiming with his team, talking to his team after the game, after the win over the Patriots. You can tell just how close this group is to each other and just what a week they have been through, and to be able to come out here and put 35 points on the scoreboard. I know special teams was a huge part of it. Nyheim Hines was a huge part of it. But after the week they went through, I'm so proud to see what they put on the field, especially in the second half of that game. In 3 straight drives on offense, the Bills went touchdown, touchdown, touchdown. And then on defense, to end the game, it was interception, interception. They needed to turn it on in the second half when things were going a little bit toward the Patriots' favor. It seemed like the Patriots started to run away with things for a bit, and the Bills were able to turn it up a notch when they needed it. You need to see, I always say this, you need to see things like this at the end of the season. Here we are, the final game of the regular season, and the Bills were able to get it done in the second half of the game. This means a lot for what the team is going to have to do going forward, playing in the playoffs. It's win and continue, or lose and your season is over.
It was, well, you were here, Maddy, and it was a very, I can't overstate this, it was a very difficult week in this building. Very difficult. Emotions were right at the surface all the time. People were tearing up just talking about things, even just with their coworkers. We had people who just needed a day, who stayed home from work during the week. The players, I went out, they had like a walkthrough on Tuesday and Wednesday, and it was somber at best. It was a very, very sad atmosphere here in the building, and for all of us. The team did what they could to help us. I mean, you and I, your phone was the same as mine. Our phones were ringing off the hook. We had all kinds of text messages from every media outlet in the country who wanted you or me or Brownie, somebody to talk about what happened, because everybody wanted to talk about it. And the club said, don't do any of that this week. We can't. We're not there. And thank you for that to the Buffalo Bills. So we were so happy not to have to do that. It was a really tough week. I had struggled to get in here today, and it wasn't because of traffic. And I know you. Same thing with you. You were, it was a difficult week, and to see these guys come out and to watch that opening kickoff do what it did, and to see all the response from the people about DeMar, I've never seen anything like it. I've never seen anything like it. It's a testimony not only to the human spirit, but to the grip our sport has on our country. It happened on a nationally televised game. DeMar went down. Everybody saw it. There were 25 million people watching the game. In the aftermath
4 million people joined on.
Yes,
after.
4 million people turned it on because they heard something happened. 25 million people, and then from that moment on for the rest of this week, it was all about that, and it was unifying. Something we haven't had since maybe perhaps our last national tragedy in 9/11, when the entire country, across every line you can cross, and we were kind of felt like we were in the center of it. It was difficult. It was difficult because we didn't know how DeMar was going to be, and then as things came out later in the week, it has turned in a positive direction, no question about it. But this was a game and a run-up to this game and getting ready for this game. I thought the team might struggle today. They might win by 1 billion, or they might lose by 1 billion. And it turned out the way it did. It was a difficult week, and I'm really happy for those guys to go out there and kind of get this cleansing win under their belt, and I said to a lot of people, today was the first normal day we've had since Monday night.
Yeah, I feel like there were a lot of exhales throughout the week, especially later in the week when we started to receive a lot of good news about Damar Hamlin's status. And I feel like after that kickoff return, that win for a touchdown, we all had a really big exhale as well. And it was so great to see this team put together what they did in the second half of the game. Of course, they were on a short week. They were on an even shorter week with what they went through. And to see them come together in a lot of ways on defense and on offense was just incredible. We're going to continue with some of our post-game interviews. Tre'Davious White and Dean Marlowe are up next.
Seeing Naheem running back, Naheem is a guy that, works extremely hard at, fielding the ball and just working on, fielding it and making the first cut and getting vertical. Every day after practice, he stays out with Coach Smiley, the special team coach, and catch balls like 45 to an hour. This guy's, he's really dedicated to his craft, so seeing him break the runs he broke today, it wasn't a surprise because the guy works at it extremely hard. So
Josh said it was spiritual. Did it feel like more than just a football play? Did it feel like it was something else?
Oh, for sure. Then the emotions of just what we experienced for the last week, and then the emotion of the beginning of the game and all that, and for him to come out and give us a boost like that on the first play with emotions so high. It was big, and it took us through.
How about the emotion after your interception, your first one since last season, to make such a big play in a game where you're trying to honor your teammate and you were able to do so with a big play?
Coach Frazier did a great job of, calling a great call in a great situation, and those guys up front did a great job of, getting after the quarterback, and he sort of threw it up, and I was in a perfect position, so I just caught the ball that came my way. Coach Frazier always preaches, taking advantage of the opportunity that come your way and catch the balls that come your way. So I was able to catch the one that came. So it was a good feeling.
How does it feel to make that play in a game where you're trying to honor your teammate and you're able to come away with a play that changes the game like that?
Anytime you can get a takeaway in the red zone, it counts for two in our room. So I think that it was a big play. It was a play that our team needed in a big time moment, and it was fortunate for me that I was in a position to make it.
Dean, can you talk about the position that you were in to play in DeMar's absence?
We preach, next man up mentality, and I've been able to be with DeMar for the last I would probably say 11 weeks, and just watching him grow each day. In my mind, it wasn't about me. It was about playing for him. Everything that I can do for him to watch and just be proud that the guys in the back end are doing their job. So at any point in time, I know I got to do my job, and it's the league. So it's next man up mentality, and I go out there and play for my brothers.
What was this week like for you, kind of balancing, knowing you're stepping in for DeMar and also all the emotions and everything that was going on? What was it like for you?
It was up and down, just with the same position, and for me to fill in, and do the job and get the job done. We're human. It's in the back of our mind thinking about, hey, this situation can be a little bit bigger because I'm filling in for him. But I kept even ground, and with the support of my teammates and coaches and family, they just said, go out there and do what you do. This is not your first rodeo. You're here for a reason, and go play ball.
Guys, what was the mood like in the postgame locker room?
Postgame locker room, we got to win, and it's hard to get 13 wins in this league, each year. It's real difficult, and we just on to the next. Got the dub, and our minds are in a right place. Knowing that DeMar is healthy as well, and we said on to the next. I can't even really tell you what else other than that.
Was there a moment where the anxiety of the week washed away, or you felt like you snapped out of it, or is it still with you even as you got through the game?
I think that we as a team and a unit, just we're like Deion said earlier in the week. We're human. We're not superstars and all that things, and we just feel like at a point in time we're very sensitive to what went down, and it to be a part of our family is a little uncomfortable, but we're built for times. This team is built for times like that, and all we think about is just picking one another up and playing for each other.
Trey, what was it like to see DeMar on FaceTime after the game and just to talk to him and be able to rehash the win with him?
This week has been, it's been just for something like that to happen, and for it to happen like that, and for the chances of stuff like that happening on a football field is just you never see it, and then for it to be one of our brothers, and then for it to be in our room, in our DB room. I was just telling somebody the other day, our DB room is sort of like my college DB room was. We're so connected, and we hang out outside of the field, and football never come up most of the time. So anytime you have a bond with guys like that, and to see something like that happen, and for me, I know to see everything transpire from the hit to him getting up, to him falling, to everything, it's just something that I can't unsee. Every time I close my eyes, it replays. I try watching TV, and every time the TV go on commercial, that's the only thing that comes to my mind. Just the vision of that. So it's been a tough week. Been a tough week for our whole team, but it's not about us right now. It's about DeMar and his family, man, and just what they had to go through. His mom and his dad being right behind our bench and witnessing their son go through that, man. It's just it's tough, and hopefully we'll never have to go through this again. But DeMar he's one of the most resilient, like honest and just pure people that I've met, and it just shows what type of person he is. So we got a text from DeMar yesterday morning around 2:31 in the morning, and for him to text us, and what he said was, "I'm thinking about y'all. I'm sorry that I did that to y'all." And for him to check on us when he's the person that's going through what he's going through, man, it just shows what type of person he is, for him to check on us in a situation like that when he's the one that's going through it. So it just shows what type of person he is, and hopefully we can just get him back. I just want to hug the shit out of him, because in the meeting room, he's sitting like two seats away from me, and every time he come in the meeting room, T-Weezy. So I can't wait to hear his voice and able to touch him and just hug him and hear that again. So we miss you, man, and just get back to us. But it's been a hard week. It's been a hard week.
Trey, how emotionally prepared?
All right, there's Trey going into detail about what the week was like, and you can hear the passion that he's speaking with about Damar Hamlin, and hearing from Damar and just kind of reliving that moment over and over again. He's speaking with that passion because that DB room, he is completely right. He knows it best. They are so close. They have been close for years. They've been close since really Jordan Poyer and Micah Hyde walked into Buffalo for that first year with Sean McDermott and Brandon Beane. They set the culture up in that locker room, in that DB room specifically, and that group is so tight. I've talked with Micah Hyde and Trey White about it multiple times, that this is the type of group that is going to have their group text well beyond the years that they play football, because that's how they interact with each other. That's how they love on each other. He talked about he's looking forward for Damar to come back to the DB room and say T-Weezy. Damar Hamlin has a smile that is just infectious. Tre'Davious White is the goofball of that room, completely. I think everybody would agree with that, because we know the type of character traits that Tre'Davious White has. But Damar Hamlin is also close. He is such a funny guy. He's got that smile. He has some great dance moves as well. He started to come out of his shell in his second year with the Buffalo Bills, and I think, Steve, you and I and everybody here, we cannot wait to see Damar Hamlin back in that DB room. And it was so exciting to see Tre'Davious White get an interception today, his first interception since coming back from that ACL injury. And man, oh man, he ran the route for that wide receiver.
Yeah.
That athleticism.
Yeah, you could tell it was a little bit of a monkey off his back, right? I mean, he's been waiting to come back and show that he can play again. Had a holding penalty early in the game, and then come back and get that on a drive where it was crucial to get a stop, and they did get a stop. Unbelievable play by him. It's the one where the Bills got the interception and then gave it right back on the fumble about 4 or 5 plays later. The defense came out and stopped them again for a field goal. Huge plays. And the defense really rose up at times, and then they were carried also later in the game by the offense, who started scoring points with the 2 big plays and moving the football. You could tell, and you're right, Maddy, these guys, it's a hard thing to explain when you grow up and spend most of your adult life in a locker room with men who work really hard or really good at what they do. They're, got this invincibility about them, and then to, bust chops on each other, because it's a hard room to stand out in, athletically and football-wise. And so it's a unique environment that really speaks to who these guys are and what makes them happy and how they can make others happy. It's a really productive and fun environment for them to be around. That's why these guys thrive so much. That's why they're always so happy. It's because of the environment that Sean McDermott has created and the kind of guys they bring in. So that's what happens when a guy like Damar drops out and is not there for this kind of reason. They miss him and miss him terribly. And it leaves a void there that they miss. So it's it's great to see them overcome it, and now to know that they've got better things ahead of them.
Yeah, most definitely. Mr. 2 touchdowns today himself. That was Nyheim Hines, who returned 2 kickoffs for a touchdown. He's at the podium answering some questions, so let's get it right over to him.
I'm great. Happy to be here. It's been
Describe the emotion as you're galloping down the sideline. You hear the crowd cheering. You know the emotion that goes into this game, and to come out and burst onto the scene with that play right away. Just what was the emotion and that moment like for you?
It was electric, and we've had so many prayers and so much support, and be able to start the game off like that, it's amazing. I even talked to family and friends, and I just said, look, we're going to be ready today. Our boys are going to play spirited. And just being around all those guys, even though I have not been here a long time, it even motivated me. And you've seen, like, we have threes on. I had 3 on my iPad today. It's been amazing, but all that was for him. And I'm happy for the things that happened to me, but I was spirited. I felt like he was out there with us.
Were you amazed at yourself when you returned the second one for a touchdown?
Yeah, I've had 2 in one game in Indy, but and it's punt returns, but on the kickoff return, I definitely was running down the sideline. I looked over and saw nobody, and I was like, oh wow, I might really be gone here. And that's really just a shout out to those guys. Both kickoff returns for touchdowns. I think I barely got touched. And that really just goes to show the other 10 guys blocking for me.
Nyheim, you made the play. Josh called it spiritual for the first touchdown. At what moment, I mean, you're focused on your job. At what moment did you sense it wasn't just a big return and a big play? Or did you at any point, once you got in the end zone, or what was that like?
Oh, I knew about that way before the play even started. I knew this whole game, this whole week, even Monday. I'm on CNN, I'm on local news, ESPN, everybody's talking about DeMar, and I just felt all the love and support. And, everybody talks about family in football, but ever since I've been here, it's been about family. And the Bills Mafia is the best fan base in this NFL, so in the NFL. So, I mean, it was very, very spiritual, and it was way before I ever touched the field today.
But as you're running, are you thinking about what the impact this had on your teammates? I mean, they all talked about it, like what it did for them.
Oh, while I was running?
Yeah.
Oh, while I was running, I was just trying to get there. And then when I was getting there, I was thinking about celebrating with my teammates. And, as soon as I crossed the goal line, I thought in my head, like, wow, like, this is our first time since Cincinnati. Like, I'm speechless. And I can't believe, I'm so thankful it was me to, bring that juice, but it's way bigger than me. And that's what I always thought about, and that's what I felt all day. It was just bigger than me and bigger than those 10 guys who did a great job of blocking for me.
That Deion Sanders strut at the end of the second one, have you ever done that before?
Yes.
That's the point.
I did that on my second punt return against Carolina in 2019. I guess it's just, I used to wear 21. I used primetime Shawty. I used to call myself that sometimes. So, I mean, I just was very, very spiritual with that one. Shawty. My friends used to say that about me. I used to wear 21, so, I mean, Jordan has it, and I probably will never get 21 again, but, I still can high step for, Deion.
On that first play, without what happened to DeMar, without thinking about DeMar, does that first play happen?
I think so. All year, I feel like on kick return and punt return, I feel like we've been close. I feel like I've been hitting it hard. Just been a step or two there. There have been a couple times I've slipped and fell on my guys, but even in the meeting, it's been #FreeHines. And, ever since I got here, this transition has not been the easiest, but ever since I got there, those guys out there blocking for me on kick return and punt return have had my back. And I felt spirited since I've been here because I know there's 10 guys out there who believe in me. So I think this punt return, the kick return, I think it was long overdue, and I feel like all the guys out there would say the same.
Do you think that shattered the tension this community has been feeling all week?
I hope so. In Cincinnati, we learned that, football, a lot of us, we say football is life, but there's so many things that are bigger than that. And, it's just a game. So I'm hoping that, just within this game, it brought life to a lot more than just myself in this community, but just everybody else in this world.
Nyheim, were you surprised that they kicked it to you after the first one? They continued to?
I was surprised after the first one when they kicked it to me, but the second one I knew they were going to kick it to me. So, I mean, it's just, it happened. I mean, I returned 2 for a touchdown in Indy, and they kicked it to me again. So I was hoping I got another chance. I was hoping I was going to get another opportunity after that.
Did you kind of get a chuckle, though, when they kicked one out of bounds? You gave me the ball at the 40-yard line?
It was great. My job is, I feel I take a lot of pride as a punt returner, kick returning, and flipping field position or giving the team great field position. So that was, for me, I chuckled a little bit, but I think I just did my job and, secure great field position.
Did you see it, or did anyone tell you that DeMar was tweeting about your plays?
No, I didn't know till after, but I actually just saw them, and big shout out to DeMar. And even him, he's been one of the guys who've been most vocal about, just telling me free Hines. He told me that every game. So the fact that we could do that while he, in his absence, it's honestly, you can't really make this up. This is wow.
That was one of his tweets, free Hines.
See, we don't say it every day. Look, we don't say it every day in meetings for no reason. I'm glad it came true.
It's a team sport, obviously, for what you could have done today for DeMar, those 2 kickoffs, return for touchdowns. Do you think you did everything you could for him today?
I hope so. And if I did not, I'll keep going until I've done it. But I hope I have done that. And we got to win. So I think we, as a community, I feel like we needed this win. I feel like my brothers in that locker room, we needed just, some great energy and some great vibes. And we had to win this. And even his dad said that. He said, that's what DeMar wanted us. They would want us to push forward and to win against New England.
Would you have scripted it any differently?
Who, for me? Yeah. Oh, absolutely. Like today, absolutely not. I mean, I don't know how many times two kick returns in a game ever happened. So, I'm just thankful God blessed me today. And, the other 10 guys out there, they're really the ones who should be up here.
Josh was out here a minute ago. He broke down talking about what that play meant to him, especially as the new guy in this organization. What does it mean to you to make that kind of play, to have that kind of effect?
Well, like I said, I have not been here that long. So, obviously, I don't know DeMar as well as some other people, but I just remember what he's done for me. And I remember when I was first here, as soon as I got here, I was in the tubs. He introduced himself to me, and ever since then, he's spoken to me every day. And, just somebody like that and just being around him for 8 or 9 weeks, just seeing how the whole team rallies around him. He's a very, very great guy, one of the best guys in the locker room. I'm honestly just honored to be able to just, have a breath with them, and I think that's just what I think about. I haven't been here long, and I know that, but I was there to comfort my guys and try to be there for guys. That's what I've been trying to do this whole week. Just obviously, I'm not as close with them as other people, but I know that for my 111, for my job, I can support my brothers who know them, who are hurting a lot more than I am. And just what I would say is I think that every person deals with grieving differently, and I felt like my job was just make sure I could support my brothers.
I think usually after a win like that, you guys wrap up playoff seeding. It's usually a pretty boisterous locker room. What was the mood like in there?
We were happy, relieved. It was great. We haven't played in 2 weeks really, and after the incident, it was tough. But I think we've done a great job, and even Coach McDermott has done a great job of understanding us. Even throughout the week, they said, look, if you need a minute, we'll give you a minute. So I think just, everybody in this organization, coaches, general manager, and player down, we've all had each other's back. And I have never seen anything like this since I've been playing football, and I love being here, and I'm so happy to be a Buffalo Bill.
Naheem, where does this rank for you in most memorable football games you've played in?
I'd probably say it's right. Honestly, it's probably my favorite memory. I got traded in the middle of the year. It's been, I've had a very interesting year. Just life's been up and down for me, and this is a big day for me too. I've been just trying to get opportunities. It's a great team, and I'm here late, so I'm out there just trying to make the most of every opportunity. So I'm happy I was able to do that, and for a great team and a place I really wanted to be. Hashtag free Hines. Thank you, guys.
So cool to hear Naheem Hines say all that about the Bills. I mean, he's somebody who has been a newbie on this team this season, got traded during the season to this team. And I remember talking to him the week that he got traded, and I just said, how do you feel about this? Well, are you happy you're here? Has it been tough for you? And he said, I loved my time with the Colts, but I'm really happy to be on a team right now that could contend for the Super Bowl, to be on a team with a quarterback like Josh Allen. And it's been fun to see him get folded into this offense and to hear him say the things that he's said about the culture and the locker room. And from somebody who hasn't experienced a full season here, I think says a lot about what this team is like, what this team means to him, just what the culture is like in Buffalo. I know, Steve, you and I know it well, and a lot of Bills Mafia knows it well, but for the entire world, the entire nation to kind of see and feel the love that comes out of this Bills locker room, I think has been super special, and one of those guys who is such a great teammate, and we saw that a prime example of that on Monday night after Damar Hamlin collapsed. It was Stefon Diggs who took an Uber to the hospital to go check on his teammate. And he goes for over 100 receiving yards today, has 7 catches, 104 receiving yards, has a touchdown catch as well, was targeted 10 times, catches 7 of those 10 targets. We haven't seen him go over 100 receiving yards since that Vikings game in Week 10, and it was so great to see Josh Allen and Ken Dorsey go to him early and often to get this offense going, because he is such an important part of this team and this offense.
Yeah, in the upcoming playoffs, your best players are going to have to play great. Your quarterback, your number 1 receiver, your running backs, your offensive line, of course, left tackle, and corners. You got to have guys, and everybody's got to be playing well. Your best players have to play well. The Bills linebackers showed up today, both of them getting an interception today. The running backs played very well today. Steph Diggs showed up big today. Dawson Knox caught a touchdown today. Certainly on a team like Buffalo that was a Super Bowl favorite coming into the season, they have a lot of players that they were depending on, a lot of players that we know and look for to be productive. They're all going to have to show up in the playoffs. They're not going to get away with the kind of offensive game they put up there today. Now, for the defense, you can say what you want about they got 3 turnovers. The Bills turned it over 3 times as well, if you count the muffed punt. It's a great team. They got a lot of great players. They're cohesive. Today they had 0 people on the injury report. That's a great message going forward. It's where they were a year ago. They're healthy now. Obviously, there's a couple of guys you'd like to have Micah Hyde back and Von Miller back.
Of course.
But, that's the way it is. But everybody else seems to be healthy. Yeah, a lot of people would love to be on this team now. But I think there's a lot of guys who were really happy to be on this team 6 months ago, too. Because of the environment that it shows. And I think that was typified by what we've been through this week and how this team reacted.
Most definitely. It was also great to see James Cook continue to get involved in this offense. He's been somebody that has shined down the stretch for this team. 9 carries for 45 yards, averaged 5 yards a carry. That's a great number from a rookie running back. He was also targeted twice in the passing game, caught both those passes, only for 6 yards though, but excited to see how he's going to be involved in this offense going forward. We've been hanging on for Coach McDermott because we want to hear what he has to say after this one. Let's send it right over to him.
Okay, good to get a win. Really appreciate the crowd and their support. I thought the guys did a great job. What courage it took for them to go out there today and the way that they handled it. Just very impressed by them and our team, including all the staff. Back and forth game. Give credit to the Patriots. They had a good plan and did some really good things. And at the end of the day, we were able to come out with the win. And really excited to watch Naheem with that opening kickoff for a touchdown. Happy for him and well executed there. So, the time's yours.
Coach, with the game, how emotional this was going to be, play to play. For you personally, what was that experience like, and how overwhelming was it at times?
Yeah, I mean, it was, like I said, going into the game, a lot of unknowns, just not sure how the players were going to handle it. I feel like I had a pretty good control on how I was going to handle it, but, you never know. Again, just because it was a new situation for us, and we were all thinking of Damar and his family. Then we come out with the first play there, and it's kind of surreal watching Naheem score, and then I was more concerned, I guess it's just coach speak, right, but more concerned about the next play and the ensuing 3 quarters and how that was going to, be handled there. So, but again, our guys came in at halftime, made the adjustments they needed to make, and then we went it out.
The organization came up with the term "One Buffalo." Do you think that the way that the community and the team has rallied together this season, you think that's exactly what they had in mind when they came up with that term?
I don't know. I think that that came up without my help. So, but I do believe that is unique in this with this team and in this city, right? In terms of One Buffalo and the synchronization, if you will, of the team, as well as the Sabres and the other professional sports teams that we have here and the fans. It's very unique that way.
How many seats? Back to the opening kickoff.
in that play, we were watching up in the press box, and we saw the camera. It was a tight shot of your face. You looked stunned. You almost had no expression. What was going through your mind?
Yeah, I to be honest with you, you as a coach, I guess, as a head coach, you think about the coin toss and what you're going to do and all that stuff in the days leading up to the game, and then obviously they won the coin toss, and to be honest with you, I thought before in the days leading up to the game, wouldn't it be special if we could take that opening kickoff? And then when it happened, I was just like, respectfully, I wasn't surprised. Just by the way the week's gone, and then for that to happen, it was like, kind of like, to God be the glory, number one, and then just like, what else, right? What else? And not honestly, also not surprised by our guys with that. I mean, it's like that was, they were set on doing that, So just a good moment for everyone.
So, Coach, how many seeds you think was planted today, and did you feel the guy above's presence today out there?
The guy above me and God?
Yes, sir.
Oh, man. Yeah, I mean, I mentioned that the other day, and, that's why I'm here. And I believe that. I believe things happen for a reason. Like I said the other day, I'm a man of faith, and just fun to watch and be around a good group of people that work so hard towards a common goal, and they care so much, in this case, about DeMar and all their teammates. So it's, like I said, God is so good, and I believe, obviously an unfortunate situation, but God has shown himself through this situation in so many ways.
Coach, just in the last year, this community's gone through a racist mass shooting just days ago. There was a horrible blizzard, turned out to be very deadly.
Right.
Talk with fans here who say they turn to the Bills to lift them up when times are tough.
Yeah.
This past week, was it the other way around? Was it the community lifting you guys up?
Yeah, I mean, like I talked about, that being in sync with your fan base and the fan base being in sync with your team, I think that's real here in Buffalo, and we lift each other up. That's what we do, and we need them like they need us, and we feel strongly about that. And I think when the players feel that is when it goes to another level, that intimate connection from the fans to the players and the players to the fans. Again, I think that's when it gets to a special level, and our players have that, and our fans have that. And I mean, to come out there today, I think it's Zach Brown who's got that song "Family Table," and being at home today was like we were coming together as a family in that stadium. And they supported us, and hopefully we gave them a couple things to cheer about also.
Could a win, even a Super Bowl win, top this?
Right now, honestly, I appreciate where you're going with that, but focused on one game at a time right now.
Players said DeMar was on the phone with you guys post-game, broke down the team huddle. What was that like?
Yeah, it was great. The power of technology anymore, that you can, FaceTime a guy and they can see him, and he can see us, and for him to break down the team, I thought was pretty cool also, and we can't wait to see him.
Sean, when did you guys know for sure that DeMar was going to be able to watch the game today?
Well, I'll just speak for myself, Catherine. I knew I had texted with him last night, and he texted me this morning and said he would be watching and locked into it. So for me, that was confirmation, my first confirmation. But I guess I kind of, just based on his progress, I kind of figured he'd be able to watch it.
Sean, how did you think that Dean did stepping into the lineup under those circumstances?
Yeah, I thought he did some really good things. His rapport with Jordan back there looked like they were working pretty well in tandem and communicating and everything. So, just overall, big picture-wise, I thought he did some really good things out there.
Sean, you said you looked like on TV that John Brown gave the volley cover touchdown to Denny. Did you see that or hear about it after?
I heard about it. Yeah, I didn't see it. But again, you talk about the people quotient, and we've got good people, and our players are guys that do things the right way. And for that to be on John's mind, I mean, I don't know John's numbers over the last year and a half, just overall in terms of what passes he's caught, what touchdowns he's caught. But for him to make that play, number one, I mean, this is a guy that hasn't played in a number of weeks, and that was a difficult play to make, and he made it. And then to have the wherewithal to go to the sideline 15 seconds later and hand the ball to the trainer, I think says a lot about who he is.
Sean, you said you were thinking about it in the week leading up. If you had won the toss, what would you have done? Deferred or taken more?
We were going to defer. Yeah. I probably shouldn't say that to you guys.
Sean, any thoughts before the week of, I know it's a playoff week, so it's tough, but any thoughts of maybe getting back down to Cincinnati and seeing DeMar the next day or two?
I'm letting everyone else let me know on that, and we'll do the right thing. And I think we'll know in the next couple of days here what that is, and that's really the important thing for us, is to do the next right thing, and whatever that is for DeMar, that's what we'll do.
Sean, Tredavious told us that DeMar texted them last night at 8:30 in the morning and said he was sorry for putting you guys through. What does that say about the guy that's in the hospital then, who's apologizing to his teammates and to the rest of us?
Yeah. Not surprising. Emotional to hear that. But not surprising because of who DeMar is and how unselfish he is, and what a great person he is. I mean, you guys see the pictures of DeMar, and he's got such a special smile and kind of that twinkle in his eye when he looks and he smiles, and he just brightens up an entire room. So he's just a special person, and so it doesn't surprise me that he would think of others before thinking of himself in that way.
And then with Trey himself, very emotional. I don't know if you saw his comments yet. Fought through it this week. He said he can't wait to just hug him.
Yeah.
What's it been like just, he's a leader of your team, just seeing him going through this week?
Yeah. That again, all these traumatic events are somewhat different, right? Because very few are the same. And I think for those guys, our players, being on the field when that unfolded was a unique situation. And so then not only moving forward to play a game, but also them being in the game, I think was an added dimension. And I should go back to the other comment or question about DeMar. Like, DeMar should in no way, shape, or form feel bad or apologize for him putting his teammates through this. I think we would all agree that God's hand is in this and has been in it from the first moment. And I think, and I should say this, when you watch how at times divided we can be as a country and a world, I think the thing we all recognized this week was when people can put love first and people first and come together, how powerful this country and this world can be for the good, and the amount of love that people can have for one another. And maybe it took a sporting event for that to happen, but I think that's a great example to all of us, and we should continue with that moving forward.
Coach, I don't know if you've heard, but shortly before the game, just minutes before kickoff, which you would have deferred, DeMar tweeted out a photo to everyone. I know the team has been able to see it, but are you aware that so just to show you, so he put this photo out, so the world has been able to see this. When you see him having the courage to share that, what goes through your mind?
Man, you guys are really good, I'll tell you what, man. Showing me pictures now. Yeah. I see that's his mom, and I can't tell, is that his dad on the other side? Yeah. They're a special family. I mean, I've gotten to know his parents now, obviously more than I did before, and what they've been through, his folks, and the way that they handled it. And I was there. I know Brandon and Nate stayed as well, and then Tabani, I mentioned Tabani, he's still there. And so, I guess my time's up. And so, to watch parents, and I have children myself, nobody wants to go through that. And to see how strong they were was impressive, extremely impressive, and they love their son. So we support them as well.
Coach, did you say anything different to players last night to get them to relax so they could sleep? And just...
Yeah, I just tried to keep it honestly. It's probably my shortest night before talk with them was just, you know, have the proper focus that we need to have and just take it one play at a time and do your job. Nothing less, nothing more. I think the tendency possibly would have been to, I got to do this, I got to do that. And so I just wanted them to settle in and just do their job, knowing that would be enough.
I know you don't really like to use the word "I" that much. You like to talk about a team because it's about that. But what did you learn about yourself as a leader, as a head coach after this last week and after getting this win today?
I think more than anything, again, just sometimes there's no script for things, and you know you prepare to be a head coach, and you've got to learning from Andy Reid. You've got a big notebook, and that acts as your playbook at times, at least through the first maybe year or so. But when you get to situations like this, I really believe that God was showing us the way, and I think that you know, minute to minute is the right way to go about it. So honestly, that's probably not the answer you're looking for, but that's how I honestly feel about it. Like, you know, you got to trust your gut and then ask God for the wisdom to move this team and lead this team in the right direction.
Coach, to see, you know, you were talking about the type of person that Damar Hamlin is, right? To see kind of that curtain get peeled back and have the rest of the world see the type of person through his charitable work or, you know, whatever that may be. It's so easy for athletes to just be seen on the surface level and nothing further than that. What does that mean to you to be able to have the rest of the world see the type of person Damar Hamlin is?
Yeah. I'm sure I speak for every coach out there that would want the same thing in a, you know, obviously under good circumstances, under better circumstances and situation, for people to really see the true character of these athletes, all of them. Because they're real people, and they have real feelings, and they have real lives behind them and families. So I think some of the, as good as you guys are, and some of the things that you put together to document some of the athletes' lives behind and off the competitive field and out of the competitive arena it helps with that, and I think they deserve that. All right, thanks, guys.
All right, that was Sean McDermott, and you could just tell the leadership that this Bills organization has because of him. The job that he has done this week, the job that he did on Monday night when he knew it wasn't right to keep that game going, to warm up for that game, and decided to bring his team into the locker room to let his players decide what was the best next plan of action. We've seen him lead in the way he's talked to media this week, in the way he's addressed media, and the way that he led his team through this game. And I love that he said the world can be such a divisive place, but the love that we've seen this week and the love that Damar Hamlin has showed this week, you can see how the world can come together when you lead with love, when you lean into love, when you act with love, when you make decisions out of love. And I totally agree with that. I love sports for so many reasons, but the biggest reason is because there's so much unity in the game of football, in the game of baseball, in basketball, right, in soccer, in hockey. Yeah. It's amazing.
Yeah, it's been eye-opening, the amount of support and love across team lines, you know, from one organization to the other, one fan base to the other. Social media makes it all the more easy to get on board with it. The millions of dollars that were donated to Damar's charity, just one more aspect of this whole thing. And it really does, and I'll say this, not just because it's trendy to do this, but you got to tip your hat to the Buffalo Bills leadership. They did something on Monday night that's never been done in the history of the league before. They pulled their team off the field. Mm-hmm. Never has it ever been done. And in the aftermath, it was always the right thing to do. And kudos to them for thinking like that and doing it. It's always going to be the right thing. It was the right thing then. It's the right thing now. And whatever happens after this, subsequent to this, whether they would have had to forfeit the game or whatever, it was still the right thing to do. And that's why a place like Buffalo, that has the weather we've got, and we're not that big a city, and we're sitting in the Midwest, and and in kind of the Midwest, we kind of feel like we are anyway, on Lake Erie, has become a destination for free agents to say, they've got something there, I want to be a part of it. And this is another example as to why, when word gets out about the culture, and about the leadership, and about what they do and how they treat their players here, players do want to play for this organization. And I think, and you got to tip your hat to Sean McDermott, Brandon Beane, Terry Pagula, and Kim for building it this way.
Yeah, it's a special, special place. It's not too late to jump on the bandwagon because the playoffs are just starting.
Plenty of room on the bandwagon, right, Maddy? You're all welcome. Everybody's welcome.
Number 2 seed for the Buffalo Bills in the playoffs this season. They will face the Miami Dolphins, a team they know very, very well. Split with the Miami Dolphins this year in the regular season. We'll see how it goes in this next round of the playoffs, the first round of the playoffs for the Bills. It'll be an exciting game.
It's playoff week.
Whew, I cannot believe it. After the season that this team has been through, after the last week, I cannot fathom thinking that there's a playoff game next week. But there is, and this team is going to get back to work, get to business, get to preparing for the Miami Dolphins. We know the Dolphins 9-8 on the regular season. They beat the Jets today, a very low-scoring game. Tua's status up in the air, did not play in this game against the Jets in the final game of the regular season. So a lot that the Bills have to prepare for this week. Practice throughout the week, and then we'll have coverage, wall-to-wall coverage as the Bills prepare for their first playoff game of this season. We're going to close it out here, though. If you guys want more sound, more highlights, more analysis, make sure you join into MSG at 11:30, where you will see Steve Tasker and myself for our other post-game show, One Bills Live, on Monday, 12 to 3, 3 hours. You guys will be recapping the game and looking ahead tomorrow. And for anything else, just check BuffaloBills.com. There's been some awesome features that have been written this week about DeMar, about the team. Go to social media. The coverage this week has been absolutely amazing. So kudos to my fellow team members, my guys in the media and content team for the Buffalo Bills. They have been killing it. But yeah, we're going to say goodnight to you guys, and we can't wait to see you next week. For Steve Tasker, I'm Maddy Glab. We will see you after the Bills and Dolphins game.